My friends, it comes down to a very simple question. Who's to blame? I've heard it in the abandoned textile mills of North Carolina. Mills that once wove the strong fabric of a nation now produce only the tattered remnants of despair. Who's to blame? And you've asked yourself that same question, haven't you? When you've lost that job on a construction site or the loading dock, a job you've had for 20 years, to someone who can't speak the language but who's willing to work for $2.50 an hour, haven't you asked, who's to blame? Who's to blame? Who's to blame?
Who's to blame? Who's to blame? Who's to blame? Who's to blame? Who's to blame? Who's to blame? Who's to blame? Who's to blame? Who's to blame? Who's to blame? Who's to blame?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Take a look. Take a very long and a very hard look. We're to blame. We're to blame. Each and every one of us. Well, that's not what you wanted to hear, is it? You say, Dr. Pooley, who are these enemies? Some folks say it's the Jews. In fact, if I had a quarter for every time I'd heard that, I'd be $10 shy of being Jewish myself. The fact remains that it would be easy to point our finger at the bankers and the financiers, Jewish or not, for the fact that our great nation can't compete in the global marketplace with the Asiatics. And it would be easy to blame the liberal leftists, Jewish or not, for sacrificing our working people on the altar of international Bolshevism. But one terrible fact would remain. That is, because we have been complacent, because we have been gullible, because we have been naive, we have allowed them to exercise their genetic need to dominate a Christian world. So don't blame it on the Jews for doing it. Blame it on yourselves for letting them. But by taking responsibility for our own domination, we're taking the first step on that long road to the promised land of economic emancipation. How are we going to get there? How do we get to this new Garden of Eden? There is a roadmap to freedom, and it's contained in the recorded messages, in the literature, on the tables, at the end of this hall. Read them. Listen to them. And if what you learn makes you madder in hell, it'll mean that you're ready to join this historic movement and to open up your mind, to open up your heart, and to open up your wallets and accept your birthright to a land of pure blood, pure spirit, and a pure belief in our divinely ordained superiority as a people. God bless you all.